No!
The Snowbound Express. 300 tons of luxury steel, dead on the tracks, in the heart of the Rocky Mountains. Outside, it's 30 degrees below zero. A blizzard so thick, you can't see the trees 10 feet from the tracks. We are completely cut off from the rest of the world. No telegraph, no rescue. But the real cold isn't outside. It's inside cabin number 4. Marcus Vance didn't answer for breakfast. He was a ruthless financier with a list of enemies longer than the train itself. We asked Thomas, the steward, for the master key to open the door, but he was in a blind panic. He swore he lost his key ring the night before. With no master key, the conductor had to fetch a heavy iron pry bar to shatter the hinges to get us inside. Wood splinters flew as the door finally gave way. We stepped inside, only to find the heavy brass deadbolt visibly thrown into the lock position from the inside. Marcus Vance was dead, slumped over his mahogany fold-out desk. A classic locked room mystery. The only window was sealed solid with 3 inches of blue ice on the outside. Nobody opened it. Nobody escaped into the storm. To the panicked passengers, it looked like a ghost walked through the walls, shot Vance, and vanished. But ghosts don't use a .38 caliber revolver, and they certainly don't leave physical evidence behind. The crime scene was screaming 2 completely different stories. First, look at Vance's gold pocket watch. It took a direct hit against the heavy iron leg of the desk when he fell to the floor. The glass is smashed. The delicate internal brass gears are completely ruined. It stopped dead at exactly 11:25 p.m., the exact moment of the struggle. But then there is the bullet. The single shot fired in this room passed right through Vance and buried itself into the mahogany wall clock behind him. The bullet smashed the pendulum and stopped the hands completely at exactly 1 o'clock in the morning. An hour and a half of dead air. 2 broken clocks. 2 completely different times. The killer manipulated this timeline. But to find out why, we have to look at the 3 suspects outside this door. Suspect 1, Arthur Sterling, the cutthroat business partner. Vance was about to push him out of the firm. Arthur was sitting completely alone in the luxury observation lounge at 1 o'clock in the morning. He had no alibi for the 1 a.m. shot. Arthur admitted he stepped out onto the exterior snow-covered deck to smoke a cigar, and I found a single melting snow footprint tracked deep into the luxury carpet inside Vance's locked cabin. If the murder happened at 1 a.m., Arthur is our killer. But if Arthur killed Vance at 11:25, the snow on his boots would have dried hours before we broke the door down. The footprint was a red herring, left by the conductor when he smashed the door open this morning. Arthur was innocent. The 1 o'clock wall clock was a staged fake-out. The real murder happened at 11:25 p.m. That left 2 other people awake. Lady Evelyn, the grieving widow, and Thomas, the train steward. Both of them hated Vance. Both of them stood to gain from his death. But neither of them could have pulled the trigger because they were each other's alibi. Lady Evelyn swore she was sitting right here in the parlor car from 11 p.m. straight through to midnight. She even had a fresh scorch mark on her expensive mink coat, supposedly from sitting too close to the popping embers of the fireplace. Thomas, the steward, backed her story up. He was stationed at the parlor car bar serving drinks. It was sweltering in the room because of the roaring fire, so Thomas took off his heavy railway jacket and draped it over a chair. But Thomas had a secret. At exactly 11:20 p.m., he sneaked out into the vestibule. He went to count his illicit gambling winnings in the dark. He thought no one noticed him leave. He was wrong. I gathered everyone in the parlor car and I laid out the timeline. I proved the murder happened at 11:25 p.m. Seeing her timeline falling apart, Lady Evelyn panicked.
It was him!
She turned on Thomas like
He
a viper.
sneaked out of the parlor
She pointed
car
right
at
at him and shouted,
11:20.
"It was him! He sneaked out of the parlor car at 11:20 and didn't come back until 11:40. He killed my husband." The other passengers pinned Thomas to the wall. They searched him for the gun but came up empty. And that's when the puzzle finally clicked into place. Thomas hadn't just misplaced his master key last night. It was stolen. The killer needed the master key to lock the cabin deadbolt from the outside. Thomas swore to me the key was in his jacket pocket when he took it off by the fire. I looked at Lady Evelyn. Her face went entirely pale because she hadn't just accused the steward. She had just confessed to murder. Lady Evelyn made one massive logical mistake when she opened her mouth to frame Thomas. Listen closely to what she said. Can you spot her fatal flaw? Lady Evelyn claimed her alibi was perfect because she never left the parlor car. But by eagerly throwing Thomas under the bus, she admitted she watched him leave. If Thomas was gone from 11:20 to 11:40, that means she was left completely alone in the room, with unrestricted access to his heavy jacket and the master key inside it. She stole the key, and she used her mink coat to muffle the gunshot, leaving that scorch mark behind. She faked the timeline on the wall clock and locked the deadbolt from the outside on her way back to the fire. She thought she built the perfect puzzle, but in the end, she destroyed her own alibi. Case closed.